Oh, so great to see you all. The world is a better place because you are here to join us. My name is Matt Brown, and I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. It is Monday, October 7th, 2024, and this is another edition of Productive NFL Recaps. And right here, we are recapping week 5 in the NFL season. And before we get into all of that and talk about some other good things, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcast platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding this show across all social media platforms or on Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X and Twitter at PodConvoPod. We're on TikTok at Productive Conversations and Facebook at Productive Conversations. And I just want to remind you to get this product, who is our presenting sponsor, and we want to just show some love to Magic Mind. You have to get your shot of Magic Mind. And why is that? Because this world is so stressful, life's very tough, and it's hard to stay focused and it's hard to stay upbeat. And this shot can fix that problem for you. You take a shot of Magic Mind before your day begins. You feel great, one, because it tastes good, and two, because of its signature vitamins and nootropics. You're able to gain more mental clarity. You're able to have less stress, and you have better energy throughout your day and vitality. And if you take this, things will get better. And to get this, Magic Mind has given us a special code. Go to magicmind.com/PCMB and use discount code PCMB20 for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your first one-time purchase. So yes, unique day, this unique Monday, right? As you know and have noticed, I usually post these shows around midnight after the Sunday night football game. And because the Sunday night football game was delayed due to the weather, the game didn't actually end until 1 in the morning. And though I don't usually have a problem staying up that late, it's just this morning, Monday morning, I had something very important take place, and I had to be up for that. So now that I finished it, I'm now back and raring to go, and this is now being released late Sunday afternoon. As you could also see, we posted the college football recap, week 6 of college football. I actually recorded that on Sunday night, and I explained what was going on there. And it's been quite a unique 12 hours since, about 18 hours since. We just have some logistical things for this week. We still have our normal programming. I was just told this morning that Ryan won't be available to record later in the week, and neither is Allison. And I asked my backup, and Jose's has a unique schedule, and reaching out to people if they can come in, it wasn't working, so we just have to move the schedule a little bit. So the new schedule this week is this Wednesday is actually going to be the tweet cap. We're recording the tweet cap on Tuesday night instead of dropping on usual Tuesday. And there'll be no tweet cap on Friday. So the only tweet cap this week is going to be in the middle part of the week, and that'll be on Wednesday. And then we will also have a regular picks show on Thursday as well, just no show on Friday. But we'll also pay close attention to the baseball, and we will be doing baseball programming at the end during this week. More specifically, towards the end of the week, we will give updates regarding the postseason. We're going into tonight. We got a big game 2 for the Yankees. Yankees Royals game 2. Carlos Rodon on the mound. This is his chance to assure the Yankees that he was the right decision when they signed him late last year. Had an okay season, up and down, better towards the end stretch, and we're really excited if the Yankees can hold off the Royals' speedy offense. And now with the Yankees, as long as Aaron Judge can get the ball rolling, going over 4 in game 1, not ideal, but as long as he can hit, not make dumb base running decisions maybe that took place last week and the last game, and then maybe some defensive adjustments can be a little bit better. But ultimately, the lineup people pick themselves up. Val Verdugo gets a big crucial hit. Gleyber Torres goes deep. And yeah, I'm very excited for game 2, and we'll be paying attention to that. So game 2 tomorrow, and we'll have postseason coverage for you at the end of this week. So yep, show this week again. This Monday we have our usual recaps of NFL and college football. They're just later than usual in the day, as you can see. Wednesday, no show on Tuesday. Wednesday is the tweet cap. Thursday's picks, no show Friday. So that's how this week of shows will go. And then we'll be back to normal on our regular schedule. We have shows, 2 shows on Monday, tweet cap Tuesday, picks on Thursday, tweet cap on Friday. And yeah, that is how this will all go down. So why don't we now get into the good part? Let's talk about week 5 of the NFL season. And in regards to the Monday Night Football game, Saints and Chiefs, will talk about it during the picks at the end of the week. We'll discuss what happened there. But remember, I picked Saints plus 5.5. Let us hope that that is the case and that is the spread that is hit. And also, don't forget I mentioned our picks. Right? We went 2-1 in college. Didn't hit on South Carolina and Ole Miss, but we did hit on Clemson and SMU. And then we actually are 2-0 right now in the NFL. We hit -2.5 for the Cowboys. And then we hit, was it -2.5 or +2.5? 1 second. All I know is we hit the spread for the Cowboys and we hit that. And let me just confirm. Yes. Cowboys were actually +2.5 and they outright beat the Steelers. And we'll talk about that. And then the Ravens -2.5 over the Bengals, just winning by a field goal and completing that spread. So undefeated in football. Let us have the Saints cover at least 5.5. And then we will have a lot to be celebrating. Am I right? A lot to be celebrating from there. So 4-1 right now. Let's make it 5-1. Okay. Now let's get to the good stuff. Let's first talk about the New York Giants. We got the New York Giants playing the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go with the local teams first. Giants win 29-20, and this was the first game this season that I felt the Giants of a couple years ago were back. Despite no Malik Neighbors and despite no Devin Singletary, they were able to get the running game going against a 3-1 Seahawks team that people thought were going to go 4-1. And at a 6.5-point spread, that actually didn't seem too crazy. And when the Giants gave up a 102-yard fumble return, literally fumbling at the one, you were not feeling good. But after that, the Giants got disciplined, only got 1 penalty in the game, and from there they were rolling. Everything was working. First of all, Daniel Jones, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, did not turn over the ball, did not throw a turnover, 23 for 34. We have the 5th-round pick Tyrone Tracy making a big statement with 18 carries and 129 yards against a pretty solid Seahawks defense. And then Wan'Dale Robinson made some plays. Darius Slayton, the rookie tight end Theo Johnson might be coming out of his shell. He plays a good game. And yeah, if it just wasn't for that dumb fumble return, and then just a couple field goals, and then a late touchdown, and then a touchdown late in the game, late in the 4th quarter, Giants were freaking awesome. Giants played great. They played discipline, and at least you feel moving forward at 2-3, maybe the Giants can be in every game at least. And we're feeling good. I had my doubts, and I am glad I'm wrong on this one. The Giants look really good and look more disciplined. Daboll looks looks like he's holding the room together in those press conferences and making sure the Giants just focus on football. Now we get Neighbors back. We have a very confident bunch, and now we play the Bengals on Sunday night. And hey, maybe there's a chance they could get back to 500 in week 6. You'll feel really good about that. Seahawks just were straight up outplayed. Gino had a bad game, had some bad drops. DK Metcalf fumbling the ball. Oh, tough game for the Seahawks, but no problem on that one. Giants get a big win on the road, playing in a very hostile environment that Seattle brings. And now the Giants are just 1 game under 500 and have so much momentum going into next week. And then when we go to the other local with the New York Jets, 9:30 London, and even though the Vikings didn't play as well as they can play and have proven to be, especially offensively, they have come out on top. They're 5-0. and they defeat the Jets 23-17 with with the Jets not making anything in the running game, with the Jets' weapons not being as explosive as they can be as well. And I won't go as far as to say Aaron Rodgers is watched, though 3 picks in a game is not what you want to see. But constant pressure from a failing offensive line and just some nasty hits Aaron Rodgers took. I thought he tore his ACL in the second half in that ugly play. But ultimately, the Jets Jets were not looking good. They're now 2-3 after 5. You really thought there was a good chance they were going to go 4-1 against the going against the Bills in a big divisional game at Monday night, and yet the the Vikings were just able to take advantage of the Jets' issues again. Even though losing Aaron Jones was tough and he was cooking in the first quarter and a half, the Jets just missing plays. Aaron Rodgers' overthrowing the ball. Brees Hall having going cold in these past couple of weeks. Byron Allen didn't make up for it either. And the Vikings just played well enough to pull off the win. But I really think that this game wouldn't be as close as maybe the score actually indicates if you actually watch the game. And just the Jets could not move the ball down the field, and it was disappointing. And though they made a run for it late and could have overcome overcome the Vikings, but ultimately a crucial interception late in the fourth quarter, leading the Vikings to ice the game with a big field goal, and then the Jets turn over it again. And yeah, pretty tough loss for the Jets. You probably assume they're going to do everything to get Devontae Adams in a Jet uniform, as he's clearly available. And yeah, messy stuff from the Jets. Bad loss, must win Monday night. Can't wait to talk about it next week. Heck, that's one of my picks during the show on Thursday. But yeah, ugly London game for the Jets. Vikings stay undefeated, though they definitely could have played better. All right, what else is going on, right? We could talk about the Ravens and Bengals, a back and forth battle. Bengals trying their best to get some momentum at home, and it looked good having a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter. But Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry again play at putting the team on his back. After this big crucial win, they win 3 in a row now on the road. Baltimore is cooking right now, very much cooking. And again, you could not be more than thrilled with what Derrick Henry and making big runs in the late in the game. Lamar Jackson with 348 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Joe Burrow, even though throwing 5 touchdowns himself, it was all the Bengals defense, as I mentioned, would be the issue here. The Bengals defense does not look good. And giving up 41 points, and giving so many points late in the fourth quarter led to an ugly loss for Cincinnati. Now they are 1-4. Oh, tough one. And they ultimately get this win in overtime. Good stuff for the Baltimore Ravens, but man, I think I at least could show with the Kansas City game that Ravens should have won and made a push at the end of the fourth quarter. And this fourth quarter performance where they actually get the win against Cincinnati, you feel that Lamar Jackson can win games late in the fourth quarter. And if Derrick Henry could continue to look like he's 25 again, all the power to them. Good stuff. And both be using both tight ends in likely and why am I forgetting Mark's last name? My apologies there. And then Mark Andrews being facilitated towards the end of the game only leads to this awesome offense that the Ravens have. But as I predicted, the Bengals defense would be a problem in this game. And though the Bengals offense was making a push, ultimately Baltimore gets a big victory on this one. Colts and Jaguars was also close. to the point where we thought Joe Flacco was going to make a big comeback. But ultimately, the Jaguars get a big victory over in Indianapolis. They get their first win of the season at home. And though we thought for a second, man, they were about to blow it again, and they tied it at one point, ultimately, Jacksonville gets it late with a Cam Little game-winning field goal. That was an exciting game. Colts take a tough loss on the road. Then we have the Dolphins and Patriots. All right, wasn't that a hard game to watch? I hope you picked the under in this one. Dolphins only win by a score of 15-10, and Dolphins losing Achane was not ideal, but ultimately the other parts of the run game, or Raheem Mostert and even Aggle Inglewood, one of the better fullbacks in the game, picked up the slack for the running game. Patriots just couldn't do anything offensively whatsoever, and Jacoby Brissett having a tough time out there. Couldn't reach the end zone. Ultimately, they had to run it in. Even though Stevenson, who they said he was getting benched, or not benched, but demoted to the running back too. He was the only one to have any respectful numbers in this game and got a big 33-yard touchdown. But yeah, that was a boring game to watch, if anything. But Miami gets the 15-10 victory over New England. And then the question really is, when's it time to see Drake May start his era? He played a little bit in the Jet game, but when are we going to see him get his first start? And we got the Browns and Commanders. 34-13. The Commanders continue to be the hottest offense in the league. Jada Daniels, who is one of my fantasy quarterbacks, continues to rack up big numbers. And the Commanders clearly showing when you have a new regime after the horrendous Dan Snyder era, and they begin this new era with their new ownership. And putting Dan Quinn in there and Cliff Kingsbury really creating a great offense in this league. Jaden Daniels, the Commanders win their fourth in a row, thanks to dynamic play from all the weapons that they have, to the running game being legit for Washington, the defense just creating problems for Cleveland, and Deshaun Watson continuing to disappoint Cleveland Browns fans after a awful game against Washington. Got to be excited if you're a Washington fan, am I right? Bills and Texans, at one point, it was 20-3. The Bills came all the way back to tie the game. Ultimately, a huge 59-yard field goal from Fairbairn led to the big victory for Houston, as they are now 4-1 and stay undefeated at home. And at least Josh Allen showed that he is not phased, and even taking that nasty, nasty hit under that helmet, which I thought was for sure going to be a concussion, but he comes back in the game regardless. And they make a push towards the end, but ultimately this back and forth game ends with the Texans being just a slight bit better, thanks to CJ Stroud leading his team to victory despite a tough loss, despite losing Nico Collins, who was cooking towards the end, but finally getting Tank Dell in there, who's been quiet all season long. Stephon Diggs continues to justify his big acquisition going to Houston. And Houston wins, and the Bills need to bounce back. A big, crucial Monday Night Football game for both the Jets and Bills after taking very tough losses during this Week 5. Panthers and the Bears, where the Panthers just continuing to go back into their old ways. They play the Bears, who they made this crucial deal in the NFL, finally meeting up face to face. And Caleb Williams now showing what a first round pick can be. It's supposed to be. At 304 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Not too shabby, am I right? DeAndre Swift was getting some yards. DJ Moore was being a boss out there. And then the Bears defense continuing to kick ass, showing no hope for the Panthers. And yeah, Panthers are now back to being a god-awful team despite getting some momentum last week. And the Bears Now maybe might be cooking something up right here. The Bears are now 3-2. Caleb Williams seems to get more comfortable as the weeks go by, and thumbs up for Chicago. Raiders and the Broncos. Broncos now have won 3 in a row, and the Raiders looking like they're getting ready to rebuild. Though after a hot start to the first quarter, it went all downhill from there. Both offensive and defensively, they wound up making the quarterback switch. Vegas, even though Bo Nix seemed to be embarrassed by Max Crosby, all he did was cook after that. Couple touchdowns, 206 yards, and we had a pick six from the Broncos defense. And Denver now looks like, hey, maybe they could be taken a little more seriously. And now we'll see if the Raiders are going to be making some moves. Not only with Devontae Adams being traded, I don't know. Are we going to see people like Max Crosby on the move? Are we going to see? Are we going to see anything like that taken fold? I don't know, but probably Max Crosby stays because they want to pay him. They've been paying him, but yeah, the Broncos with the throwback unis kicking ass with a 34-18 victory, and now they are 3-2. Cardinals and 49ers. Oh man, first of all, it starts hot with Kyler Murray. Then San Francisco looked like they were owning the game, and then ultimately owning the game in the second half, just kept scoring and get a big crucial block field goal for a touchdown. By the way, I realized I didn't mention the best play of the game with the Giants. The Giants get that big crucial blocked field goal, and that ultimately was the deciding factor. Special teams again for the Giants. How about that? But I don't know. There must have been a big time locker room speech, and the 49ers didn't score after the second half, and then the Cardinals just took over. This on the road, if you as well. Thanks to Kyler Murray, who secretly has had a really good season, his great play towards the end, and then a crucial field goal towards the end of the game by his name's Chad Ryland. Good stuff for Arizona. That man, San Francisco is now 2-3 after 5 weeks. Now I know they've had some injury problems, but you definitely didn't leave your 49ers. You want them to clean up their act and make sure everybody's on the same page. And whenever the hell Christian McCaffrey's coming back, he's definitely going to be needed. Even though Jordan Mason has held it down for the most part. And the Packers and Rams was fun as hell to watch, with Jordan Love feeling like he's getting back in the groove of things after the MCL sprain. But what they were able to do running the ball, and though LA had their moments, but still missing crucial receivers, Green Bay winds up making a big statement towards the end, thanks to Jordan Love showing that great arm of his, staying accurate, staying calm in the pocket, and it was just too much for the now 1-4 Rams. And the Cowboys Steelers, which I did wind up staying up till the end to watch, just didn't record. I fell asleep during this real gridiron matchup. It was At one point, it looked like it was Pittsburgh's game to win, but it was Dak Prescott with some new targets after Braden Cooks was out. Used by a guy named Jalen Tolbert, who had some big plays towards the end of the game. Dallas gets a big win on the road against the Steelers in this classic matchup of two incredible franchises. I'm very impressed with what the Cowboys have been doing in this particular game, especially making adjustments towards the end of the game. And though the Steelers at one point looked like they were holding it down, especially on defense, got to give credit to Dak Prescott making some big crucial plays towards the end of the fourth quarter to get this big victory. Now they are 20-17. And then we had some buys this week. No Philly. No, we had no Philly this week. We had no Detroit Lions this week. No Chargers this week. And then who else? I'm missing one. Am I missing one? You. No Eagles, no Charger, no Eagles, no Chargers. Yeah, I think that's it. No Eagles, no Chargers, no Lions. And then also just want to focus on the Thursday night game, which took place during the intense game 3 of the wildcard series for the Mets and Brewers. But I was watching this in the second half, particularly, and went back to watch the highlights of the first half. But this back and forth game between the Falcons and Buccaneers, two veteran quarterbacks showing off the great talents they have in Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins. But once again on prime time this season, Kirk Cousins helps them prevail in this big divisional matchup, and with 500 yards, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and going for 42 for 58. Man, Kirk Cousins showing what the fuck is good. I will say that. And whether it was with London or Mooney, and then Bijan Robinson making some noise, and Kyle Pitts finally going, slowly still going out of his shell. But give credit to, the Buccaneers making the most with their running game. Big plays with Evans and Godwin, especially with Evans with a couple of touchdowns. And Baker Mayfield not turn over the ball. It could have gone either way. It was just in the overtime matchup, the Falcons won the toss and they were able to get a big touchdown towards the end of the game on that one. But yeah, that's what I have to say there. Awesome Thursday night game, definitely the best one of the year so far. And that'll complete what actually was a pretty awesome week in the NFL. Again, I addressed the buys. We will discuss the Monday Night Football game with Saints and Falcons on Thursday. And yeah, that'll recap week 5 of the NFL season. I thank you for taking the time to listen. Thank you to Magic Mind. Thank you to the Productive Nation. And we will be back here not tomorrow, but on Wednesday with the brand new tweet cap. So let's enjoy this week. And yeah, as each day goes by, the fall continues to be more fall. Please help out those who are in need down in the Carolinas and Georgia and parts of Florida for the hurricane. And our prayers are out because it looks like another one is coming for Florida. So, again, just help anyone in need and let us have a good rest of the day, my friends. All right, I'll see you all very soon. See you on Wednesday, and let's have a good ass couple of days until then. My name is Matt Brown, and I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast, and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. Peace.